if you had a bad week last week, don't let that affect the following week. Go out and get whatever you're going after.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks Podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
I really hope you guys enjoy today's episode. If you do, then be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, then pay a simple, cheap fee. All I ask is that you like the episode and then maybe share it with a friend you think would enjoy it as well. Help continue to grow this podcast and share the words of wisdom from all my guests that join the show with as many people as possible. As always, be sure to grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Let's get into this week's episode. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. I hope you all had a safe Halloween, but now we are back, and we are into a new month. That spooky stuff is over. Now it's time for football and turkey. Better, in my opinion. But topic for November is gratitude, and joining me to kick off this month is my good friend, making his second appearance on the podcast, Caleb Scott, a.k.a. Cal Scott. What's up, man? Welcome back to the Roughnecks Podcast, my man.
Thanks for having me again, Cole. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's you got something on, don't you? Aren't you
I
repping
do.
something? Yeah.
I do.
You were one of the first people to buy a shirt. I think you bought it in the very first sale. So
I did.
been repping
Yeah,
since
that
day
was
one.
back. I was back when you give family discounts. So
I can't afford those anymore. Podcasting is not a cheap thing.
I'm sure it's not.
But just to give you all a rundown of like what to expect this month, it's going to be a little different, kind of, sort of, for some episodes this month. I'm bringing on some of the people in my life that I am most grateful for. You will hear from, just a select few. There's a lot of people, a lot of other people that I want on this podcast, but it just doesn't work out. Like my family, I'm sure I will probably have them in at one point, but sometimes I just don't even know what to talk to them about on a podcast. But you'll see a lot of people in this month that I'm very grateful for. They're my closest friends, mentors, and stuff like that. And Alex was actually supposed to join us today, but unfortunately he couldn't make it or didn't want to make it. We're not exactly sure what it was, but maybe he'll be on an episode one day, maybe not, probably not, but that's not important. But also a quick reminder that episode 60 is a Q&A episode. I've said this the past 2 episodes now. I have 3 episodes maybe. And it's a Q&A with me. And if you have any questions you want me to answer on the podcast from literally anything, shoot them over to roughneckspodcast@gmail.com. But Scott, you're back on the podcast after your debut from back in episode 35. So we're on episode 59.
That felt like forever ago.
I know it's almost 25 episodes ago. So it's been a while. It's been a long time. I think it was back in August. Let me look real quick.
It wasn't back in August. It was like May, April.
It was May.
It was right in the middle of baseball season.
May 17th. That was when your episode came out. So it's been months, but welcome back. And you know the deal. We start the episode by giving a rundown of who you are. So I'll let you give the Roughnecks listeners who haven't listened to episode 35. Also, if you haven't listened to episode 35, be sure to go check that out. But tell the Roughnecks listeners who you are.
So once again, I'm Caleb Scott. I went to Washington Memorial High School. Go to Wilmington College. I am technically a senior at Wilmington. I am a sports management and business administration manager. Just currently got accepted into ODU's master program for sports management and leadership, which I'm very excited about, which I did not add last May because I didn't know I was even going to do it. But I play baseball here. Just got done with the fall. The fall went pretty good. We're looking pretty good for next year too, for the spring. Hopefully we can pull out an OAC championship or something like that. But yeah, that's about it.
It'll be nice to actually probably have a season. It's been way too long since you've had a true season, I feel like. When is the last time that you really had a true season?
So actually I wasn't at Wilmington College. I was actually at Owens when I had a true season, and technically I didn't even really play. It was, I don't even get me started on that, but I didn't really play. But yeah. That was the last time.
But take me through this whole ODU thing for people who might be in a similar situation to you. Like, what exactly is it, and why did you decide to do it?
Yeah, so basically what it is that since I go to Wilmington College has a 4+1 deal with Howard Macon University. So basically what I had to do was I almost missed the deadline, but thankfully I went to one of my sports management professors here at Wilmington, asked him about it. He's like, yeah, I'll get you in contact with this lady. So I emailed her and she's like, yeah, fill all this stuff out. And I filled out like a letter of intent, I need a letter of recommendation. I need to fill like a couple of things. I need to get my transcripts over, all that. And technically what it is, a 4+1 is that right now I'm taking 2 classes, or I will be taking another class in the spring, but right now I'm taking 1 class. It's half semester. It's about sociology in sports or something like that. But basically what it is, I'll finish my master's degree in 1 year.
That's nice. See, so for anybody who's in like your situation, if you're at a school like Wilmington, because I don't remember the other school that had it that I looked at. There's other schools that have a lot of, I think
No,
Heidelberg.
there's
Heidelberg has it.
I took a visit there out of high school, and what it is basically the same thing as Ohio Dominican, but I was going to go for business. They have a really good business school, so they basically what it is if you finish your degree at Heidelberg, you get your 5th year free, no cost. It's all free, and you get your master's for free. So basically, you're getting your master's in 5 years, and you get your master's for free, basically.
And that's where a lot of people we've talked about it a lot on this podcast, but I think we talked about it. A lot of people like kind of knock D3, but in reality, academically, sometimes it's way worth it to go D3 because you might get an extra push that advances you a lot faster.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Because like coming out of my junior college, I was looking to go like at least Division II, Division I. But I didn't think I was that good to go Division I. I definitely was trying to get some scholarship money since I didn't have that great of grades. But thankfully, I was able to come to Wilmington College, and honestly, I've been very thankful for this opportunity to come here and expand and network and learn more about the business industry and the sports management industry, which has been great because I've been connected with like guys from the Cincinnati Bengals, the Blue Jackets. There's a couple other little small like parks, like that run like soccer tournaments and baseball tournaments and all that. It's really cool. But we're about to go here in about 2 weeks. We're about to go on a trip to the Columbus Blue Jackets, like their sports management trip. It's gonna be really fun. You get to network with like a bunch of like their ticket sales, season ticket sales, all those guys that sell like all the season tickets and all that. So definitely should be a fun time.
So we're actually going to do something on this episode. It's going to be a Q&A episode. And this is unscripted, unplanned. I just started a live on the Roughnecks TikTok. So we might get more questions on the live. If anybody joins the live and asks a question, you're getting on your phone and you're going to look. But I'm going to actually unplug this real quick. We're going to do a quality check real quick. Talk real quick.
Hello?
Can you hear yourself talk?
Test 1 2 3. Test 2 1 2 3. No.
All right, we're good. So we're going to do a live and an episode. We'll just start off with a couple easy ones just to get the episode rolling. What is your favorite color, Scott? I'll kick it over to you to start.
Well, you see here, I'm a big Ohio State fan, big Ohio State fan. Probably the biggest one, He called me out in front of which Ohio State football player interviewed. But I have to go with red. Red is definitely one of my favorite colors. If I had to go 1B, it'd probably be either orange or green.
Yeah, I'm definitely a red person as well. We had a few people join the live, and what we're going to do on this live, we're recording a live podcast and doing an Instagram live. If you have any questions for this episode, any questions at all, just shoot them in the chat and I will ask them on this episode that will come out next Monday. But my favorite color is also red. As you can see, like we got the red with the Bolt Roughnecks. I love the red and black combination. It's my favorite, definitely without a doubt. But we're going to kick it to the next question. And you already kind of answered it. My answer is a little more complicated, but favorite sports team, I think it's self-explanatory for you.
Yeah. since I already kind of explained it, I'll go with my other favorite sports team. I'd have to go with the probably Cincinnati Reds, probably my other second sports team. I wasn't really into MLB baseball until about like this year, really. I just didn't really care to like keep track, but since the Reds were pretty good this year, and I like to keep track of like who's doing what, and like let's say for example, I mean like Votto had a good year, Winker had a good year, Castellanos had a good year. I just like keeping up with those guys, and kind of when I went to go see them play the Padres, July, it was a lot of fun. So I'll go with my 1B team. So
Mine's a little complicated. People sometimes make fun of me for it. Without a doubt, Ohio State football and
yeah,
basketball favorite teams. I'm not a big professional sports person. Like if I had to root for people, it'd probably be Cleveland. But
oh my,
the other thing, I am also when it comes to basketball, Teddy Houlihan, who was originally started this podcast with me, he gives me so much shit because he's like, you're not a true fan. You only like them in basketball. Why don't you watch them in football? But North Carolina, I love North Carolina. I do have some roots there. Like my dad was born there. We have family that is still there. We go there.
See,
About every 2 years.
I'll back you up on that. You have been a North Carolina fan ever since I met you in the sixth grade,
Yeah.
whenever that was, or like whenever we really like
First
were on a
connected,
team
like, actually
together.
hung out.
Yeah. But yeah, I would have to back you up on that, and you have been a fan since then.
Exactly. I'm not a fake fan. I've always liked them. I think
See,
part of
see,
it
I
was
think I don't like it when people call out other people, oh, you're not from there or whatever. I think that's kind of like douchebaggy in a way. Like you can like whoever you want. I mean, yeah, your first 1 or 2 years of liking that team, you may be considered a bandwagon, but if you continue to like them through their ups and downs, then I see nothing wrong with it.
exactly. Oh, you got that dinger on. We got another dinger in the episode. I might have to come up with something like a little sound that I play after every time somebody's phone goes off during an episode because it happens. I don't care. It just happens periodically. But we're going to go on to another question a little real quick. And I'm going to skip around on these questions. Most of the questions as well, but we're going to go with, we'll go with this one. We'll go with this one. Favorite sports moment from when you were playing a sport?
So yeah. My favorite sports moment, I'll give you two.
I got two
All
as
right.
well, so we're good.
So when we beat Newark Catholic senior night, that was probably my favorite sports moment. I remember running after Dante Fair had that pick six, which was the most incredible thing that I've ever seen in my life. Like on the field, like playing against, not like watching Ohio State or anything like that, but like through high school, and knowing when he did that, we were going to win that game. I knew instantly
sealed the deal.
because I knew our defense was going to get a stop the next, because I just knew them. We had all momentum, and I remember running out onto the field, and I was screaming and yelling. I was flicking off the other side, and the play wasn't even over. I don't even think the play was over yet. The rest were just downfield, and I was running onto the field, and I was just flicking off the other side. Not a lot of people knew I did that, because I don't think a lot of people were. Of course, I mean, I'm a lineman. No one paid attention to me. But yeah, and then then for college, so my favorite sports moment was obviously coming here, being able to play baseball and be able to play for Coach V, who's probably been the greatest coach I've ever had in my life. But definitely taking a 4-game series, we go to 3-1 against John Carroll last year, was very, very, very that was probably one of my favorite sports moments. I did hit a home run that series, and we beat them like 17-4 that game, and a lot of people didn't expect us to go in and beat them.
Those are the fun wins.
Yeah, like I mean, us as a team, we were expecting going to beat them, but I don't think anybody else around the OAC was expecting us to take 3 games from them, which I thought was incredible. And plus, Coach V got his 700 career victory, and being a part of that was a very, very special moment for me. Just considering that I have so much trust and a good relationship with him is something that I liked. That was fun to be a part of.
Yeah, mine actually one from high school is from that senior year, just not that game. Mine was actually against Lakewood because of the fact that it was my first game back after the broken elbow, which I will get into the broken elbow story. If you want to hear it, listen to episode. Hold on, I got to do math. So 61, 2, 3,
Yeah,
64.
I remember being at your house that night when you broke it, dude. You were
I couldn't sleep. It
yeah,
was
I
rough. We may have
yeah.
done a lot of things we shouldn't have, but that's besides the point. Pizza rolls are amazing, by the way. Mama
Pizza
Nixon
rolls.
always cooked those pizza rolls for
That's
us when we
right.
got back
Mama
from every
Nixon.
single game. There was a crock pot full of pizza rolls. It
And
was awesome.
then there was Zane Spriggs sitting on the couch and had the whole thing to himself.
Yes, waking up at 6:30 the next morning, going and running a mile, feeling like crap. But mine was, that game when I came back and didn't get put into like the second half because I got cleared, I think that day, the day of the game, I got cleared to play.
I thought it was the
And
day before.
I don't remember.
Because I remember you coming back and I think it was like a Thursday because we were all in our short pads and we just all see you running out. I remember that. I think it was the day before, dude.
Whatever. But then that
I
I
don't
didn't
think
get put into half.
I would say, did they play you?
Not
I
till
don't-
halftime. Not till after halftime. I didn't play the whole first half.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's why I think it was actually the day up.
I think it might have been too.
I think because
Were
what
you-
you're
were
thinking
you
of is the day
running?
I came back after the doctors and I walked on the field. That was when, and then I had to
That's-
tell
That's
everybody
what it
that
was.
because I thought all the doctors told me I wasn't going to play the rest of the year. But coming back, and then that I remember his name is Cameron Downs, was running across the middle, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time and got a nice hit. First or second series back, and then get an interception later that game. Highlight of my personal career, just an awesome feeling to come back, and basically that comeback story in a way. But then
Of course.
also, let's see, my senior or junior year of college playing Denison, which we have a special hatred for Denison. I have a even more special hatred considering
I know. I got every Snapchat every year.
fuck
F
Denison.
Denison. F
Actually,
Denison.
it's Duck Finison to get it correct.
Oh.
But Denison, I have a special hatred. They're right down the road, 15 minutes from my house. Never got
Yeah.
recruited by them. Whatever, no hurt
You
feelings.
don't. You wouldn't want to go there anyway. It
No,
was
I
like
wouldn't
70
like that.
grand to go there, dude.
You know how much it costs to go to Ohio Wesleyan?
Not 70 grand though.
But and then I was actually playing corner at the time. Which, did you ever think I would ever be a corner?
To be honest, I'm not really defensive minded, so I don't know. Probably not.
I'm too slow to be a
All
corner.
right,
let's
yeah,
put it that way.
that's what I was gonna get to. That you might have been a little bit too slow, maybe not as athletic. But I mean, some of our corners I thought were at Watkins. At least I didn't think were very fast or very athletic.
That's high
So
school level though. That's different.
true.
But playing corner, we're supposed to be in man to man. For some reason, I wanted to run cover 3 by myself, and ended up getting
Oh
an
yeah,
interception.
yeah.
And the funniest thing is in the film, you can see on the very bottom, you can see our defensive coordinator like throwing his hands up and like trying to yell at me, but it was so loud that game I couldn't hear a thing. And I dropped back, get an interception, and I came back over to the bench, and he's like, "Good shit, Nixon. Just next time when we're in man to man, stay in man to man." I went, "Oh shit." He goes, "You got the interception. I don't care. But next time," I was like, "Oh God." Yeah. So, but those were the glory days for me. I'm officially done, retired. I'm a NARP.
Yeah. That's where I'll be here in about 6 months.
Yeah. But here, I'll kick this one off. The next question, and it is going to be, where does your inspiration come from? And we kind of talked about this a little bit before the podcast, like how deep do we get? And I might get crazy. I'm not going to get crazy deep, but like,
I don't think I'm gonna get that deep.
my
But-
biggest inspiration without a doubt is my parents, because my parents, they're 60 some
Yeah.
years old and they're outside every weekend. even like right now, my parents are outside blowing leaves, like getting the yard. They always have to have their yard looking nice. And, they're in their 60s and they never stop. And I
Yeah.
wish that I had half the drive that they really do, because they are constantly doing something, and they just show me like what it's like, how you should have a family, like how you should treat your family, and just the hard work and dedication that they have. Like my mom, I wake up, I have to be at work at 8 a.m. and they're both gone before I even wake up. My mom's up at 2:30 every morning. My dad's up leaving by 3:30, 3:45. So like my parents are up early,
Yeah.
gone early, and it's been that way for the past. My dad's always done it. My mom didn't do it till like my sophomore year of high school, but it's crazy that they're in their 60s and they can still continue to
Yeah.
just have that drive. So now kick it
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, I think I would have to go the same way. I mean, my dad has always been kind of that inspiration to me. He's always kind of directed me in the right ways, what I should and shouldn't do financially, or even if it's like sports, or like if I'm having a problem or whatever. But another inspiration is my mom. Definitely I would have to agree. I mean, as I said in the past podcast, she's had some health issues, and like just like seeing that, I feel like that's kind of like an inspiration to me, like how much she pushes herself to, like she was in the hospital for 2 weeks at a time. She wasn't There was one point during like COVID that like we weren't allowed to see her for 2 weeks. Like, I mean, typically I only see her like maybe like once or twice a month now since I'm at college. But I mean, like still like her not being able to see her family just because of a little virus. I mean, that was probably hard on her. And she overcame that. And plus, she also had a heart attack too, which, I mean, she overcame that, which was something that I thought was crazy. You remember me calling you.
I think we talked
But
about it in the
definitely.
last episode too.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. If you want to go listen more about that, that would be another episode. But
Episode 35. Go listen to it. Definitely worth the listen.
yes. But yeah, I think those are two. I'm gonna give you a couple more sports related. So I had a hitting coach at my community college. His name is Bert Ferris. He is most he's the greatest guy I have ever met in my life. He changed the way that I played baseball. He would change from fielding, hitting, throwing, running, everything 5 whole yards. And he was the only one at that college, the only one at that college that trusted me. He knew that I would go on to another college and do special things, because he knew I had the work ethic, because he knew I would always be the first one there, last one to leave. And I still go see him a couple times a year. Just kind of depends how busy I haven't seen him probably in about, I don't know, it's probably been about a year since I've seen him, but he definitely brought some inspiration to me. Plus, he also, when he's at my junior college, he was kind of bigger set a little bit than when I saw him 2 summers ago. Dude, he probably dropped about like 80 pounds. So I mean, he also has that drive in there too. But I was very glad to know that someone there had confidence and trust in me, that I was going to go on to do better things than what was at that college.
You need those people in your life, and sometimes it only takes that one person to give us that drive, even more of a drive, to realize, like, because there's a lot of people too, when they don't have someone to trust them, they don't have anybody that believes in them, they just kind of give up.
I could have easily just rolled over, could have easily have quit, could have easily have been like, I don't want to do this anymore, maybe go do something else. But no, he was
could
the
have
one
just
that
finished
was
school and said, screw baseball, I'm just going to get my degree and be done.
Exactly. But I never saw myself as that person. So
you've never been that person.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason, like, me and you get along. I hit my mic. Me and you get along so well, and me and Jesse Beachy, who's been on this podcast, Teddy Houlihan, we are those type of people, and Alex even, like, who always want something more. Like, we can't ever just give up and quit. We always have to just keep going and find something. Like, even if like we do fail at things, like we fail at things, and that's normal. You're gonna fail at things in life, and it's okay. But take those failures and learn from them. And like, we're one of those people, like, when we fail, we get pissed, we get mad, like we hate losing. People are like, it's just a game, why are you so mad? Like, I used to cry after every single loss in high school. And I didn't do that in college, but besides a few losses,
you couldn't do that in college.
I mean, there were honestly a couple of them. I even watched a couple coaches cry after losses. Well,
I mean football, I mean, you prepare a week, and I mean, you're away from your parents, you're away from your kids, you're away from your wife or whoever, for you maybe only see them an hour a day. I mean, I don't blame them, I guess. So
yeah, I remember, I can't even remember where I was going with the story. Completely forgot.
Crying about losing.
Oh, the one game in college, I remember actually like kind of really tearing up. It was my junior year again, where we had the best season that I had in my 4 years there. I didn't really get a senior year, and we were at Wittenberg, got our asses handed to us. We played scared. I don't know what was wrong with us, me included. Like, we just played defensively, played like shit. Luckily it was the last game, so we didn't have to go watch film on that one. But and we lost, and I'm up saying hi to my family and stuff. And if you know Wittenberg football field, they have a big staircase, a big hill that you go up. So we're standing up at the top, and they're all celebrating because it's their senior day and stuff. And then they get on the loudspeaker, and DePaul somehow beat Wabash, which gave a co-conference tie to Denison, Wittenberg, and Wabash, like, for the conference championship. And if we'd have won that game, that would have been us. And I just watched them go crazy on that field. And that right there just drove me insane, because I remember sitting there like watching them celebrate, like that could have been us. Like, that should have been us.
Get your ring.
Yeah. That was my closest chance to getting a ring, and I never got it. They got a chance this year, though. They, it didn't help that they lost to DePaul this year. They lost to Witt, lost to DePaul. Now they got 2 more games left, I believe, and they got Kenyon, which should hopefully, knock on wood, be a W. But then they got Denison. I'll be at that one. That one's at Denison. You want to come home for that weekend?
What day?
It's in 2 weeks, I believe.
I think it might be 2 weeks. Is that the 14th?
No, let me look.
Because I think it might be going to Purdue game that day. I say Purdue.
It would be the 13th.
13th. So yeah, I'm going. So it's
Purdue
13th.
game.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to some more questions. Let's hit another one. We got another one asked by the fans. These are all questions asked by the fans as well. That's where, that's why we're on the podcast or the Instagram live. So if you have questions, put them in the chat and they will get answered right here on this podcast. But the next one is, I think I just deleted it. Let's go goals in life.
Goals in life.
I'll let you kick. Do you want me to kick that one off, or you?
I'll do it. So my goals in life, obviously, have a good relationship, which I believe I have right now.
Yes, I will say, speaking from just meeting her last weekend for the first time, she is awesome. You did a good job on this one, bud.
So that, making sure that I find a job. So finding a job is obviously important. Need to make that money. But anyway, but yeah, and eventually I want to go into ticket sales with my sports management degree. But then I want to work my way up into like management roles. And
you're going to be getting me free tickets, is what you're saying.
I would be able to if I would get a job. But that's the goal in life. Eventually I want to work in management. I don't know what kind of management roles there are out there. I actually have to do a paper on that here in about like 2 days. So I guess I'll be learning more about that later, but I definitely will go into some type of management role. And if that's not in sports, it's not in sports. So yeah, that's only one of my life goals. I haven't really thought about life goals. Maybe I should.
I know this
But
question, like now that I'm sitting here, like listening to you say this, I'm like, what the hell are my goals in life? Like I have short-term goals for sure,
yeah,
but like,
I feel like those are more short-term goals that I just kind of said.
well,
I
you're
guess
also at that stage too where you're not graduated, but you're about to graduate. And then it's like that whole point, and I'm just graduated, and it's like, what the hell do I do with my life now?
yeah, see, I've been applying to a lot of jobs, all across the United States, to be honest. My mom, my mom will definitely hate to hear that because she doesn't want me to leave. But I mean, kind of like I was explaining to you earlier that I need that startup job, the entry level job to get into more like advanced, like to like a job closer to home, like the Blue Jackets, the Columbus Clippers. I need a startup job considering that I didn't really do an internship this past summer. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my goals in life are very similar. Like obviously the relationship part, and I think I got a good one as well. Hopefully, we'll see. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
you know, it's the other thing too that I was just thinking about. I'm a little more different than you when it came to jobs. Like I've always been, I don't know, last like this whole podcast and last my last year at Ohio Wesleyan, I had this entrepreneurship class, and it almost opened my eyes to possibly starting my own business. Now, I've never exactly known what I want to do, and I won't talk about it too much, but there could also be the opportunity of taking over a startup, like a small business with what I'm currently doing. But you never know. And like, it's one of those that I'd eventually like to own my own business in a way, whether it's mine that I started or one that I took over. It'd be, I feel like that's more my style, because you know me, I've worked hard labor jobs my entire life.
Yep.
I've never known if I could actually sit at a desk, because even when I sit here recording a podcast, I always have to have a pen in my hand, like twisting it, and like I'm too antsy. I always have to be doing something. So sitting at a desk is hard for me.
See, I would have to agree with you, but I don't know. I just I don't see myself being out there in 100-degree heat, putting in pulls.
No,
I just don't see me.
trust me.
I see myself as wearing khakis, a button-up shirt, and shoes,
Yeah,
nice dress shoes. That's how I see myself. I see that as like I see myself as a salesman. So, but
yeah.
yeah,
That is
I
where
don't
we
see
do
myself in
differ
your
a little
shoes
bit. Like that's
a
where we
little
do
bit.
differ, because we have our career goals, I guess, are a little different
Yeah,
minded.
and that's okay. I mean, not everybody needs to be doing hard labor,
Nope. And
and
not
not
everybody
everybody
needs to be wearing a suit and tie.
exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
It's not for everyone. Kind of like how college isn't for everyone.
No, I will say, if I could go back, this is we'll go right into this question, which is advice you give to someone who just graduated high school. If I could go back, honestly, I wouldn't go to college. Now, I'm not saying don't go to college. That is not my advice to people who are about to graduate. But
Yeah,
you got to look at the reality of things. And my style, in all honesty, I went to college to play football.
yep.
College was an added bonus. I got my degree. But
I feel like that should be every student athlete's priority is your sport before. No, don't
I
get me
know where
wrong here.
how you said it
Don't
sounded bad. I knew what you
don't
meant, but how you said it definitely didn't sound right.
don't get me wrong here. Your academics are absolutely important. You're getting your degree is absolutely important. But would you be going there just for the academics?
No,
No,
I would not spend that much money on the academics.
exactly. No, it's just a bonus, like you said.
But I look at it, you need to take a real hard look at yourself. If you're a person like me who, has done that kind of stuff, the hard labor, and I mean like actually like, running equipment and anything like that. If college isn't in your forte, go to a trade school, because
Yep.
you can start making a lot of money real quick. But I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that but also trades, you will find a job ASAP, like really quick, because there's plenty of trades out there. Now, at the same time, there's plenty of jobs out there in general. And if trades aren't for you, if working in a 90-degree heat isn't for you, then that's fine. Go to college, do what Scott's doing, do what I even did, and go find get yourself a desk job or whatever, or start your own company, do whatever. There's plenty of options out there. I'm just saying, when you graduate high school, well before you graduate high school, really sit down and think, because I don't think I took the time to truly think about what I wanted to do. I just kind of made an impulse decision. I'm not saying I regret my decision necessarily, because I had 4 great years. I have a college degree, and I'm the only one in my family who went to school to play, who played 4 years of a college sport.
See, and that's something you can brag about right there. That's
Yes.
something that you should be very, very excited about too.
Yes.
So you were the only one. Like, I mean, my dad brags about that all the time, that he was the first one to graduate from his family. Now I'm able to brag about, I'm going to be the first Scott to ever get a master's program degree or master's degree. And my dad always told me, he was like, yeah, I wish I would have gone back and get my master's. And I was like, so you're telling me that I should probably get it? And he's like, yeah.
But what advice would you give to someone who's about to graduate high school?
Honestly, I want to give it to them before they graduate high school. I feel like it starts their junior year. They should try to figure out what they kind of want to do in life, because kind of going back to what you're saying, you want to go to college. I feel like that's something that you have to figure out before you graduate.
Yeah.
So then you're not spending money on classes, even at a community college or anything like that. You don't want to waste money and not finish your degree. So that is definitely one advice. Think about it before the end of your junior year, what you want to do with your life. And then you'd go from there. If that's college and you want to be a designer for some reason, do that. Go into that. But if you want to go into trade, if you just want to go right into the workforce, I would start applying for jobs right before you graduate.
I will add on to that. Know that your plans are probably going to change, and understand
Agreed.
that. Like, I changed my major, you've changed schools. Your plans never go exactly the way you want them to, because everything's going to change. Like, I changed my major 3 times till I finally figured out what I wanted to do, and changed my minor multiple times. Like, originally I was computer science with a data analytics minor. And then I was like, all right, I'll go data analytics with computer science and math minor. No, I'm going to go the math or business. And then I ended up getting a business marketing degree with a minor in data analytics. So just know that your plans are going to change, and be okay with the change, because it's just, there's no way around it. It's going to happen. There's very few people who go through college. Like, an average people change their degree, 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah. See, I never changed my degree, because I knew when I talked to my dad about it before my senior year of high school, that business was what I wanted to be in. I wanted to be in sales, kind of follow the footsteps. I didn't know what kind of sales I wanted to go into yet. But I slowly figured that out once I got into college and all that.
So we're going to go on to the next question. We're getting close to the end of the questions. We're actually been going for a little while now, but dream job.
Do you want my realistic dream job or my unrealistic dream job?
Unrealistic, because I got my unrealistic one.
Or we'll do both. How about
Okay.
that? So my unrealistic dream job is obviously become an MLB or professional player. How about that? Even if that was overseas or anything like that, I have thought about that. Don't think I'm good enough. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's probably my unrealistic professional job. Now my realistic job, I definitely kind of like what I was explaining earlier. It's still kind of unrealistic, but I would like to be a GM or somewhere in the management roles of, like, I don't know, like sales or marketing or social media or something that, is part of sales. That's just something that I want to do. Something that I've had passion for So yeah.
See,
What
it's
about you?
not necessarily an unrealistic thing because when you look at it, I'm going to go off of what DPK said in his episode, which would have, we're recording this the day after I recorded it with him. So it's not out when you know about this, but by the time they hear this episode, it'll already be out. But anyway, he kept saying, like, they haven't heard of me yet. They haven't yet. He kept adding yet on the things because he has that drive, or I'm not there yet. That's basically what you're saying. I'm not ready for that position yet, but your goal one day is to be there, and you have the drive. You are that type of person that has the drive that wants to continue to advance in your career to eventually get there.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with those statements. That is definitely one way and a good way to look at like something further down the line. Like I'm not there yet. Yeah, I would definitely have to agree that that was a great way to say something.
Going
In
off
that
of it
aspect.
again, I said it in the last episode, but I'm going to say it again. If you are not listening to Dirty Prescott Kids yet, you need to go check him out. He's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything. Go check him out. Listen to his music. He's probably coming to a concert somewhere near you. Go check him out. Definitely worth it. Awesome guy. Travis is an awesome guy. Definitely go check out his music. But my dream job. What is my dream job? I'm going to say this is my unrealistic one, but it's not completely unrealistic, kind of similar to you, but it more than likely will never happen. I'd love to work, my obsession with Yee Apparel. I'd love to work with like Granger or Yee Apparel, somewhere on those lines. Now, I'm not saying it's completely out of the question, but it's
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
You hit me with my own line. He did get me.
Good. I did.
I'd love to work with for Yee Apparel. I've had multiple other guys on this podcast, from Granger's guys and Yee. I've had Hayden way back in episode. I don't even remember now. It was yours was 35. Episode 33 was Hayden. Episode 50 was Chris Lee. Episode 54 was Butch and Bull from Risky Business, the bus drivers for Granger, and Chris Lee's his tour manager. Awesome dudes. Got to meet Chris and Butch and Bull at the concert, and Granger at the concert that I just went to in Michigan not too long ago. Awesome guys. I'd love to work for them. But something that I've already mentioned that I want, my dream job in a way, is to be my own boss, like own my own company, be my own boss, and do something that I love. I don't know exactly what that is yet. Hell, a dream job also would just be a full-time podcaster. That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
I'd love that
that would be.
because I mean, this is what I love to do. It's my side time that I spend a lot of time doing, but I love doing it. And that's kind of another dream job that I'd love to have.
Yeah, that's another thing I would have to agree with you is like being your own boss. But the only thing that I don't want to be my own boss is because I like to learn. And I feel like you can learn from people above you. Or even you could still learn from people below you, but you can learn more advanced like techniques or ways to say things to like for like sales for example. You can word things like so like word it like correctly, and like it could be like that magic like sentence, be like this person's gonna say yes after I say this little piece, and you learn that from the people above you, which
Yeah, that's exactly why I throw into the whole taking over a business, because essentially I'd be learning from them a lot over time. And then when they're ready to be done, I kind of would slide in and just continue it.
oh okay, yeah, I mean,
So, yeah, but we'll go on to, I believe this is one of the last questions, unless anybody has a question in the Instagram live. If you have a question for this live podcast, hit me with a question in the chat and it will get answered. But we're going to go with a little bit of a different one than kind of what we've been going at, but we're going to go with relationship advice. And I'm going to kick this one off because of the fact that I'd like to start out by saying I've never been great at relationships. So if you want to listen to my advice, you don't have to, but just know these are the things. This is kind of one of the things that I've learned a lot through my relationships that I personally feel like I am the reason that they have failed. most of the time. I'm not trying to like throw a pity party for myself, but I know my place. I know the things that I've done wrong. Not every relationship, but there's also the things that they did wrong. But I know I've done a lot of things wrong, and I've learned from my mistakes a lot of times. And the one thing that I have to say is just be honest. Like, if something upsets you that they do, tell them. Don't like hide it because you're just going to continue to be mad about it. Don't be like, oh, they're fine, I'm just overreacting. Now, sometimes you might need to think about it, but be honest with them and communicate. Just tell them things, because at the end of the day, that's going to go a lot long, like more of a long way than if you just hide things and don't communicate with them. Because then if you finally tell them and you blow up about it, then they're going to be like, I literally had no idea because I've been doing this for this long and I never knew you had a problem with it. So that's one of the things that I've learned personally. That is one of the best relationship advice that I can give, in my opinion. What do you got?
So yeah, relationship advice. I've been all right with relationships. I would say I wouldn't have been terrible. I mean, I've had
Yours
a
have always
couple.
lasted a lot longer than mine have.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what you were saying. It's communication. Communication has to be key when you're talking about relationship advice, or even in like the workforce. Communication, you have to communicate. Also, but yeah, I feel like communicating is definitely, and tell them how you really feel. It may
Truly.
hurt them. It may hurt your other significant other, but it also could help in the long run. You
Oh,
may
yeah.
not see it now, but it will help in the long run.
Yeah, and I'm
But
gonna kind of piggyback off what you said and just kind of go on a different sense though, is relationships in like the workforce and friendship, whatever it is, we're gonna expand this a little bit, and I'm gonna talk about don't burn bridges too quick. Don't be too quick to judge just because
yep.
maybe someone doesn't have the same political views as you or you had one disagreement. Don't burn those bridges too quick, because you never know when you might come to a spot where you need that bridge. I've learned
Exactly.
that in life, and there's been multiple times where throughout this podcast, throughout my career, where I've been like, man, I wish I wouldn't have burned that bridge because I wish I had this as someone to talk to. And knowing
And
that that bridge is already too burnt to do anything with.
being a good communicator means that you're a good leader too.
Yes, it does.
So if you want to be kind of like the head of command, you got to be able to communicate.
100%. And
I
even
feel
if
like
you
I
don't
feel
want
like
to be the
that
head of command, if you want to be respected, you have to be able to communicate.
exactly. And yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Yep.
So I had a couple questions that I'm going to answer real quick, that I'll answer one of them. The other one I will save for episode 60. But who has been your favorite podcast guest? And the reason I'm going to answer this one is because that is a very hard question to ask someone who has had 59 episodes. I completely forget. 59 episodes. There's bits and pieces I like from every episode. Somebody may have brought a great episode, but as a podcaster, some of my podcast friends are in this live right now. That maybe they didn't have a great mic. Maybe they had terrible lighting. There's goods and bads to everyone. Scott's probably the worst, but that's okay.
Worst about what?
You're the worst. Worst podcast
Yeah.
guest I've ever had.
Oh, why? Because my voice.
No, I'm just kidding. You're
I was about to say
definitely.
it might be because my voice. I'm not really.
If
good
you were
at,
my
like,
worst podcast guest I've ever had, why would I bring you on twice?
I don't know. Who knows, dude? Maybe just because we're friends. I don't know.
But I'm not going to answer that because I really don't know who my favorite podcast guest is.
I'll say mine.
Who I've had on?
Yeah.
Who?
Just take a guess.
You?
No. That's selfish. I'm a leader. I'm not selfish like that.
I'm going to go with CJ Saunders.
Think you know me too well, Cole. Yeah, I mean, not even just because he's a Ohio State player, just kind of like kind of what he talked about and like how he got onto Ohio State, kind of like how he was a football player or baseball. He was a baseball player, right? And then went to football, and then how kind of he went through that adversity right there. And I thought some of his stories were cool. It's been a little bit since I listened to it, but definitely was one of my favorite, most interested in. I could listen to him talk all day, dude. But
Yeah,
I just
he
thought he was very
was.
interesting to talk.
I will say he was one of the
Like,
easiest. Like I just asked him a question and he just had like great things to say. And it wasn't even all about himself. He put everything on Ohio State, like on his teammates and on his coaches and everything. That was episode 43. If you guys want to check that one out, because that was a
yeah, no,
great
that
episode.
that was an awesome episode. I mean, definitely one of definitely probably my favorite. You want to know who number 2 is?
Who? You.
No, I'm just kidding. No, not me.
No, but an episode you may want to check out, Scott, is the one that was just released on Monday, the whatever this past Monday was, with Adelaide Aquila. She was a walk-on to scholarship shot putter at Ohio State.
Was that the Olympic?
Who ended up
Olympic
going to the
athlete?
Olympics, 2-time national
Gotcha.
champ, 3-time Big Ten champ. You know, from a walk-on to a 2-time national champ, 3-time Big Ten champ, and an Olympian. That's pretty impressive.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So you definitely check that episode out as well. I believe that's episode 57. Yes, 57. I can't even keep these episodes straight anymore. There's so many of them. But now it is time for the best segment of the podcast. Y'all know what time it is. It's Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is the point in the episode where I allow my guests to give our Roughneck listeners a little inspirational bump to set the tone for their week as they listen on Monday morning. So what does Cal Scott have for his second go around of Motivation Monday?
Well, you know I'm very, very bad at these. But I will have to say is if you're going through, like, if you had a bad week last week, don't let that affect the following week. Go out and get whatever you're going after. I see a lot of people that bring bad days into bad weeks into bad months. Don't let that occupy you. Go on to the next week, start fresh. Even try something new out. Try to become a leader or even just a great friend. So definitely don't let the past knock you down.
100%. And that's something that I've actually done. You know, I have this podcast where I say these things, but I need to be clear. Like, I have my bad days, my bad weeks, my bad months as well, just as everybody else does. But
see, I've truly never had a bad week. You only live once. Why live down in the dumps? Like you only have one life to do something. Why be sad all the time? Why not be happy? Yeah, I get it. Things might not go your way. Okay. What are you going to do tomorrow to change that? Exactly. So why live down in the dumps? Like, that makes zero sense to me. Why people are always, oh, I'm so depressed. Oh my gosh, I had such a bad day. Whatever. No. Okay, what are you going to do about it tomorrow?
100%, and because every day is a new day, and really what you could look at it is, you know what, I had a bad morning, but after lunch I'm going to turn my day around. You can look at it that way, to where you don't even let it be a bad day. Let it just be, all right,
Exactly.
You had a bad morning, you're going to have these bad times, that's okay, but don't let it occupy your day. Don't let it carry on to everything else, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel like you just wasted a day in a way. And your time clock, we all have our set time to die. Your time clock never stops ticking. It's going to continue to go. So why spend one of your precious days? You never know when it's going to be the end. Why spend one of those days having a shit day?
Or you never know when it's going to be one of your family members or close friend. You could be pissed off at them. Why be pissed off at them? That makes zero sense to me. Like, I get being mad, being upset, but like, you're still going to be there for them, even if you're mad at them or if you're having a bad day. Don't bring that energy to anyone else. So
That's the big thing too. Yeah. Don't take your bad day out on someone else. Because especially if they're not the reason for your bad day, don't take it out on them, because then they're going to feel like they did something wrong when in reality they did absolutely nothing wrong. It's all on you.
Like, could you tell that I was having a bad day today?
No.
See, I mean, my mom texted me about an hour and a half ago saying that they're probably gonna have to put my dog down.
Which, I mean, you've had that dog most of your life, so that's not something that's easy
Yeah,
to
exactly.
do.
So I mean, like, it's tough, but I mean, like, I'm not gonna let that bring me down. She had a great life and all that, so I'm not gonna bring that bad energy to anyone else. So
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
not gonna let that affect how I am. Now, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be some sad times in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not gonna bring that into 3, 5 a year.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to go along with life.
Yep, 100%.
So,
But with that, I think that's a wrap on the 59th episode of this podcast. Thanks so much.
what's the next episode?
Episode 60. It is a Q&A episode, and it is just with me. So if you guys have questions, you guys know the deal. You got to send an email over to roughneckspodcast@gmail.com. But episode 60, we're only 40 away from 100. What should I do for episode 100? I got to do something cool. What do you think?
Run around your house naked.
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I will do
I
it
don't know.
as long as
Maybe-
there is
maybe-
money involved.
You should definitely try to get like some like big name like coach, like
Speaking of
talking
big
like-
name coach, I
like,
may be in the works of trying to get somebody for the last episode of the year. Very big name coach, coached at Ohio State. I'll tell you after the podcast. I don't want to announce it on the podcast because I don't know
That's
if it's
fair.
going to happen.
See, that could be episode 100 right there.
Well, I'll tell you the reason why I wanted him for the last episode of the year. But episode 100, if you guys, any of my listeners, have an idea for episode 100, email me, message me on social media, whatever. We need something cool to do because, like, 100, I've heard, I think it was Andy Frisilla said, like, he won't even consider coming on a podcast unless they have 100 episodes. So, like,
Who's
episode
Andy?
He's the one who made the 75 hard challenge.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Andy Frisella. But, like, episode 100, it's a big deal. And that's when you get, I mean, episode 100, that's over 2 years, roughly. That's about 2 years. Yeah, that's under 2 years, technically, if you do 1 a week. But episode 100, if you guys have an idea, let me know. As I mentioned, episode 60, send questions over. Until next time, though, you guys know the deal. Life is hard and is going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let the bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Scott,
right.
you have a sign off? You got something you want to say?
deuces, baby.
Roughnecks out. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then do a couple things for me if you would. Subscribe, rate, and review so you don't miss any of our future episodes. Then share this episode with a friend so that we can continue to spread this podcast and share my guest stories and advice. You guys know the deal, though. Until next time, be sure to grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks out.
Oh, thank you.